As early as 11 in the morning, on any day of the week, you'll find dozens of lunchtime patrons eager to taste some of the South's most delicious dishes at Crescent City Grill in Hattiesburg. The New Orleans-style eatery is owned and operated by Robert St. John. A veteran in the restaurant industry, Robert was used to getting the occasional letter and phone call asking him for a donation to a worthy cause, and he's always done his part to answer those calls. But one day, he received a call that was more than just someone asking for a donation. It was a call that would change his whole life's mission.
So there was a place here in town called Edward Street Fellowship Center. It's a mission pantry. I got a call from them. They were at the time feeding about 800 families a month, and they had completely run out of food. I mean, there was no food, and they had clients coming in that Friday. They called and said, "Is there anything you can do to help us?" And I said, "Sure." I figured the quickest, best, easiest way to help them would be just call my Sysco reps.
Sysco is the nation's largest food distribution company. Robert's been buying from them for years, so a few days later, Sysco delivered the order, and the center was able to feed the families who were depending on their help. After that, Robert wondered if there were other food pantries and soup kitchens throughout the state that were facing the same dilemma.
To be honest with you, I really was a little skeptical. Even though we had already helped this agency and we're kind of getting into this, I was skeptical that there was even a problem, because I knew Mississippi's #1 in obesity. And I had a hard time reconciling the fact that how can we be #1 in obesity and #1 in food insecurity? It made no sense to me. And what I learned, it was just like a cold slap in the face, that those two always go together.
Robert faced a decision. He knew he couldn't sit back and allow his neighbors to go hungry, so he made a commitment to the state of Mississippi itself to end hunger.
And so I started looking into this, and I went to Sysco and I said, "I've got an idea. What if we, let me compile an order or two," and actually I did 3, and put them into groups to where it's very easy for people to order, kind of a food bundle. And they said, "We're in," instantly. There was no talking them into it at all.
And that was the moment in 1999 that Extra Table was born. Extra Table provides food pantries and soup kitchens across the state with the healthy food they need to feed the hungry. So not only is Extra Table tackling hunger, it's simultaneously driving down obesity by getting healthy, nutritious foods into the hands of those who need it most. So 3 years after he founded Extra Table, Robert decided to increase its capacity. He brought on Raven Tynes as executive director by asking her one simple question.
We sat down and he said, "Raven, where do you want to be in 5 years?" And I said, "Well, I want to be working for a charity to end hunger and alleviate poverty." And he said, "Well, I've got a job offer for you." And that's when he told me about Extra Table and about the position that he wanted me to take here. And it was absolutely my dream job, a dream come true.
Together, Robert and Raven believe they've created a simple system to solve one of the most horrible problems in the U.S.
We receive a donation and we use absolutely 100% of any donation to purchase food, and that's something that helps us stand apart. We're committed to that. So if you give us $10 to purchase food in Hattiesburg, Mississippi for the hungry, we order $10 worth of food from Sysco and have it delivered to a food pantry or soup kitchen who has already got hungry people coming to their doors.
Robert and Raven knew that hunger was more than a problem in Hattiesburg, so Robert took his mission on the road to see if he could get more buy-in from folks across the state. He landed nearly 100 miles north of Hattiesburg, the capital city of Jackson, and invited a friend of his to come hear him speak about Extra Table. And that friend was Jeff Good. Anyone who's ever eaten at Bravo or Sal and Mookie's or Broad Street knows his culinary prowess.
As Robert was trying to expand this over the state, Jeff was one of the first people that he called. In the middle of Robert's presentation, Jeff just had this $1 million idea, because that's how Jeff Good's brain works. And he decided that we needed to get Extra Table involved in our 3 restaurants. At each restaurant, when you walk in, you'll see an Extra Table at each of our 3 restaurants. It will have information, actually has a plate set up, and it has everything that you need to know about what Extra Table is. But when you come in and dine at our 3 restaurants, there is an extra line for Extra Table on each receipt.
Every cent from that extra line for Extra Table benefits the agencies located in the same city as the restaurants. Gateway Rescue Mission is one of those agencies. Gateway serves about 300 people a day, about 10,000 people each month, and has been the harbor for folks in need or down on their luck for decades. Matt Sieg says he never thought he would wind up at Gateway, but is thankful that he did. Matt says he's a former alcoholic who lost everything to the disease. Then he found himself at the rescue mission to try to get himself out of the dark pathways he was facing. Now Matt says he's cleaned himself up and is looking forward to getting married. Just as Gateway has been a blessing to him, he says people like Robert and Raven with Extra Table have been a blessing to Gateway before he even knew what was happening.
For about a year, we had a truck pull up in the middle of the street, a semi, and we'd get like 2 dollies full of number 10 cans. And we didn't question it, you know, thank you, Jesus. And it's probably only been the last 2 or 3 months that we found out that it was from Extra Table. We didn't even know.
And the Extra Table orders from Sysco have made a huge impact when he has hungry people waiting to fill the seats and eat their daily meals.
Because we do live on pretty much donations, you never know what you have to use. By getting that donation every month, I know what I have, and it's all good.
With hundreds of thousands of seniors, children, and single moms, and regular Joes living in a state of food insecurity because they have to choose between paying a bill or buying dinner, the folks at Extra Table are using their partnership, skills, and love of humanity to continue to raise awareness about the hunger problem. But it's not easy.
We aren't just recognizing the problem, we aren't just laying that on thick. We're recognizing a good, feasible solution, and it's time for us to take care of our neighbors. If a child goes hungry, that's the community's fault, and we can absolutely fix that. $1 at a time, 1 can of green beans at a time, we'll fix it.